Good morning, Rob. Okay, this is take number 2 for the video because I talked about a bunch of really interesting stuff, but stuff that wasn't related, and I ran out of time, so we're gonna do it again. I guess a little tidbit, we'll be going on a little day trip today to go check out Odawara Castle. That'll be fun, but I'll talk about that kind of stuff later. Anyway, so recently I read a cool book. Read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I don't know if you've heard of the book before, but I've been trying to read more finance books as I am building up to my education and trying to get towards my career. But I'll talk about a few of the points today from the book that I thought were really interesting. He's very kind of brutally honest in the book, which is, it's a fun read, but it's also kind of difficult because you read some stuff and you're like, he kind of describes the average American and about how really the middle class kind of gets screwed over by a lot of things, especially taxes and other things and whatever. And so it's an interesting perspective, and he kind of sheds insight onto how we're doing well for ourselves, but we don't realize in many ways that we are kind of having our hands tied while he always calls it this rat race, and he's trying to teach people to escape it. And so in some ways I think he can be very extreme, but he brings up some really interesting points that I really liked. And his kind of brutal way of speaking really I like, because I'm used to military straight cut, so it really kind of helps get me to action. And that's exactly one of the things that I love about his book, is he talks about taking action, which I'm a huge hypocrite on when it comes to financial goals. The reason I say that is because for the last 5 years, I've been telling people that I really want to get into investments, which I do some. I do like my retirement account and my Roth IRA, which is technically in the stock market, so I'm investing. But I want to get into like me individually researching stocks or ETFs and mutual funds and investing into them. But I always tell people that I don't know enough about it, and that's the reason for my delay. And I've been doing that for 5 years now. So it's time to blank or get off the pot, you know? So I'm going to set a challenge for myself, and that is by next video, I want to at least have done a little bit of research, or I want to have identified a couple potential things like of interest, like stocks or ETFs. Doesn't mean I have to invest by them, but I need to have at least done something to step towards my goal. Otherwise, I'm a hypocrite. Anyways, the next point that he talks about, which I thought was interesting, but I think he's more extreme than I will take it. He talks about paying yourself first. And what he means by that is when you receive your paycheck, he wants you, so he has assets and liabilities. He considers an asset as only things that make you money. Everything else is a liability per se. It's not necessarily something that's harming you. Like clothes is not the same as debt when it comes to liabilities, but in his mind it's cookie cutter, it's black and white, just like that. So when he says paying yourself first, he talks about when you receive your paycheck, rather than immediately trying to pay off your bills and then only having 400 or 500 left to work with afterwards, or whatever you have, do the opposite. Pay for assets first. Pay for real estate, buy stocks, buy ETFs, buy whatever it is that makes you money, and then use what's left over to pay the bills. The reason I say he's extreme is because he will do it to the point where he's saying he'll have no money to pay his necessities, and he just finds a way to make money and pay it off. I think that's incredibly stressful, and that's his point, is that stress pushes you to pay those and find ways uniquely to pay those off. But I don't ascribe to that. But I like the idea of paying for stocks up front, then paying your bills, and then afterwards, maybe you're less inclined to go to McDonald's, or maybe less inclined to go out to restaurants because you don't have it in your budget. Anyways, it's a cool book I read recently, and I'll talk more about it.